I live in a Vanguard down by the river. Welcome everyone to Vanguard at Lycanthrope's gaming space. Vanguard was released in the arcades in 1981, published by SNK in Japan and Europe, and in North America by Centuri. If the name Centuri sounds familiar, it should. They actually had contracts with a lot of different Japanese companies to publish their games in North American arcades. Some of the bigger examples were Taito's Phoenix and a game that I've done previously on the channel, Guzzler. They also had a big contract with Konami, which brought hits into the arcades in North America, such as two of my favorites, Time Pilot and Gyrus, and one of the biggest hits for Konami in the early 80s, Track and Field. Vanguard actually has a couple of distinctions. It's one of the first shooters that had forced scrolling in it. Several others came out during this year that just barely beat it, most notoriously Scramble and Super Cobra. But Vanguard also had diagonal scrolling, which I don't believe was something seen before now. It also featured digitized voices and a very unique 4-button firing system, allowing you to fire in whichever one of the cardinal directions you chose. So Vanguard had a lot going for it, and it was pretty popular overall. But for some reason, it's not mentioned as one of the long-time great shooters, and I think that's kind of a shame. So allow me to prove my case. So everybody strap in and keep your guard up. Boinging Vanguard. Bright and shiny attract mode. Still tracking my coins from last time. Energy. Yes, and get energy, you can destroy everything, even the terrain. Now that's invincibility. This obviously won't last for forever, but it lasts for a good long time. And we can just wreck everything in our path, because why not? I've seen invincibility in a lot of games. I've never seen invincibility in one that allow you to just destroy the hills. Yeah, that ran out a lot sooner than I thought it was going to. Oh, and by the way, I have Turbo Fire on. Just so you know. This doesn't do this by itself. The power-up theme, by the way, is one of two themes it took from sci-fi movies. This actually comes from 1980's Flash Gordon, and it's the theme for Voltan, composed by none other than Freddie Mercury. Yep, the Queen frontman and truly one of the greatest singers in rock and roll history composed that theme. The other main theme, actually the intro theme, was taken from Star Trek the Motion Picture, composed by Jerry Goldsmith. And now we have the Mentos here. At least that's what they look like to me. Vanguard, the Fresh Maker. That one always gets me. This is the diagonal scrolling I was talking about. Those ones that are just ahead of you will occasionally break off and try to fly at you. You just have to be mindful of it. But that theme from Star Trek the Motion Picture, by the way, the end, was actually reused later in The Next Generation. Players can be allowed to start the game from the same zone, which is at the position of game over if player play again within 30 seconds, but for first pattern only. Diagram that sentence, I dare you. I vaguely remember reading something about a fuel gauge for this, kind of like Scramble had, but I couldn't really pick one out, and that's solid terrain. I did not know that. Yep, I honestly don't know if SNK had permission for that or not. There were big deals with Hollywood going on at the time, you know, like Atari had with Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T. So, you know, it wasn't unheard of for Hollywood and the video game industry to cooperate back then. But then again, there was a lot of Wild West... Jesus. Wild West Jesus. Yes. He's the fastest Bible slinger in the West. Okay, we got our blaspheming in for the evening. That's good. Yeah, there was a lot of Wild West behavior, too. You know, just, hey, we can get away with it, why not? And occasionally some of the background will blow up if a ship is near it. When it blows up. God damn. I did much better than this in practice, I swear. And on top of that, I think it was, from everything I read, it was a fairly straight conversion. So, I don't think it was something that Centuri did without SNK's knowing. It probably was something SNK originally did, and Centuri just, you know, like, translated it whole cloth. While I'm playing this, I should mention that there were two home versions of Vanguard on Asshole. Not on Asshole. There were two home versions of Vanguard on Atari systems. The 2600 and the 5200. I almost got the bomb of that reactor. I don't know if I can actually destroy that thing or not. There we go. I'm not sure if there's something special that happens if you destroy all three of the reactors. I've never managed it. But the 2600 version I did not like it at all. Mainly because of the limitations of the system. And it wasn't anything graphically, believe me. Graphically, it was very impressive. The problem was the way they handled the four-way firing. Since there was only one button on the joystick, you maneuvered the ship around with the joystick, but in order to fire, you had to... That always got me. That always gets me. And now we have ineffective shrimp. But you had to hold the button down and maneuver the joystick in the way you wanted to fire. Which very much hampered your movement. And tended to make you run into things more often than not. Also, the energy in the 2600 version, and I'm not making this up, looked like dead ringers for Mega Man Z tanks. And get a shot in on that. I don't remember the boss's name, unfortunately. And now we're here into the second level, and I'm not going to get much past this. I'm just going to warn you right now. The 5200 version looked better, but apparently controlled a lot worse. So if you thought that was a more modern phenomenon, guess what? It wasn't. Whoops. Okay, I'm in trouble now. Okay. Crisis averted. Oh, by the way, there are actually two other instances where the name Vanguard came into play. One was pretty cool and innocent and all, and a good part of my childhood, and the other was not. Vanguard was actually the name of one of my favorite GoBots. Vanguard was a silver minivan, and it had like a cool transforming method. Like the back part of the van would just open up like a clamshell and open up to the sides. So I always imagined it was like that he was like firing missiles out of there or something. I don't know if I can destroy it. I totally missed it. And I missed it again, because dough. Nyeh. Didn't mean to run into that. But the tops of the... This thing is really weird. It doesn't go up and down. It just goes left and right. And that weird ticking clock down there with new faster seconds. The other one that was much less innocent was involved the infamous organization Nexium. If that sounds familiar, it's the one that Smallville actress Allison Mack was involved. It was in doing like racketeering and pyramid schemes and all other kinds of seedy stuff. The founder, a guy named Keith Rainier, a disgrace to Keiths everywhere, he was the founder of it, and within the organization he used Vanguard as his organizational title because he happened to be a big fan of the game. But don't blame the game for that. Well, anyway, that was Vanguard there. Pretty decent shooter, but it will eat you alive after a while. So, everybody take care, and always remember, GoBot's good, Cult's bad. Until we game again. This episode's energy mining was made possible by Mike Panza, Rick in Baltimore, Viceroy Scorn, Diode, Jumpy Cat, Shin Majin, the post-production contributions of Matthew Carr Anderson, and all my fantastic Lycanthro fans. Thank you very much for your continued support. Until we game again.